Okay.
I think Logan is the shitty social media star.
So many topics.
Oh yeah, let me see if I got any mails.
Jay, you don't have a foam on your thing anymore.
I raw dog it now. Hey, what's up, everybody?
Jeez.
Welcome to the HollingsWorthless podcast. This will be for Wednesday, May 19th. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Big Irish Jay Hollingsworth, and we have the Hooligoons, aka the crew, aka the usual suspects, aka the Fabulous Four. Sean, the Mechanable McCann.
I am on the show today.
We have Manulus Rojas.
Wow.
Martin.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All right.
The Coco co-host.
God, it is good to be back and good to be black on this show. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
shit.
Just kind of diversifying it up. And shout out to all the fans. Thank you for all the love and all the wishes via email. You're the best.
Yes, and Phil, aka the Foxtrot, aka Motown Philly, aka T-Town Philly, aka
Why don't you fill me up, buttercup, baby?
I love it.
Oh my God.
Welcome
So
back, man. Oh, Gabriel's in here. Gabe, what's up, Gabe? Felicia said, "Welcome back, Manulus."
Thank you, Felicia, for the kind comments.
Yeah, do you want to just quickly? I know you said you wanted to say thanks to everybody.
Oh, yeah. Just, big thank you to everybody. My brother-in-law passed away last week. And, there was quite a few people who reached out. And, it just really meant the world to me. And, shout out to Jay looking around for him. Shout out to Sean looking around for him. But no, it's good to be back, man. Last week was great. It was just missing black people on it. So, you know what I mean? I want to thank all the black people who filled in my place in the comments. Truth.
Yes. Oh, and we have so much to cover. First,
we love you, Manny. We're glad you're back.
I love you guys.
That.
Good to be back.
Way to start the show off on a low.
Hey, hold on. Before we start, I just want to say something real quick. Before we start, hold on here. So I don't want to take this for granted. So we start these up, and we haven't been too consistent on the time. The day we're pretty consistent on, right? But just schedules make it difficult sometimes. Here we are, 6:30. It's moved around a few times. I don't want to take it for granted here. Every time we start this thing up and go live, then all of a sudden the comments fill up. And dude, that's the coolest shit ever. Like that we're all, because I was thinking about it today when I was driving. It was my Jeep, not the BMW. And I was thinking to myself, it's so cool that we all get to kick it. I mean, I know that we all have mics, the four of us, but it just feels like we're all hanging out like this big group of people. And it happens every Tuesday. And for me, it's really important, dude, especially during this time. And, I live in LA and not, where everybody else is. So, I love it. So I just want to say thanks for everybody coming. Now hit that like button.
Like,
subscribe, share.
Dude, it really is. It feels like we're hanging out with a bunch of like our friends in the comments and
Phil.
And Phil.
See?
Yeah, because they're gonna fill up those comments, baby. Why don't you fill me up in the comment thread, baby? And below the video down below, I'm gonna have a stroke.
Okay,
all right.
Jesus.
It was like 4 songs in one.
Daphne is referencing. She said, "Hey, Manny," or should I say, Reverend PC Manny, which we have a new character.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard the Love in Black and White. We have Reverend Thaddeus Ezekiel Johnson III Esquire.
Who is this?
That would be just this one of God's soldiers out here, just trying to make the world a better place. And alongside with my Reverend Pastor Fred, I want to say thank you, Fred.
Yes, I'm Fred.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyways, let's get into it. Did anybody else see it fully yet? Sons of Sam, the documentary.
Nah, I tried twice or 3 times. I just can't get it. It's just not hitting for me, man. Dude, I gotta try again when I'm more like focused in.
I'm telling you, the payoff is worth any lows that you have on it. It's fucking insane. And I want to
just rehash what it's
is this
about.
on Netflix?
Everything?
yeah, without giving away like some of the big punches in it, so to speak. So you guys all know Son of Sam, the serial killer, right? So there was an investigative journalist, Sean trying to take my job.
Because I said subscribe and like. She's like, nah, Felicia's like, no, I do that. Thanks. I think
that's great. So there was an investigative journalist that he did a bunch of research, and he has a theory that it wasn't one guy. It wasn't the Son of Sam. Wait,
wow.
what's going on?
Alice, I know you're trying to start this conversation, but Alice, I love everything about what you just said right there.
What? You just thought that you were reading other comments that from a past thing?
Yeah, it's like a premiere, and we just showed a past show. But she knows right now when we say, hey, Alice, she knows this is live because we're saying, hey, Alice.
Booyah.
Alice.
It's
Alice
live
and
in the
Mariah.
flesh, baby.
I love it. Yeah, we are live for those that don't
Alice
know that.
Mariah, go back like babies and pacifiers.
I'm not going to say anything more on the on that Sons of Sam, but I recommend.
Okay, we need to watch it.
Yeah, and the first episode might be a little slow, but I'm telling you, it's worth going through it. It's
Okay.
fucking wild.
Alice, we do want to let you know though, if you want that exclusive content, please subscribe to the Patreon that we don't have.
Dude, I want to cut that, and if we ever do have a Patreon, I'm just going to use that. Oh, really quick, do we have a PSA today?
We do.
Oh,
we do.
Here we go. First, before you do it, I think we need our resident musician and singer, Phil Fox. We need a theme song for Sean's public Sean announcements, PSAs. Can you whip something up real quick, Sean? I mean, Phil?
Let me see. Uh-oh. What's that? Could it be? Right now? It's happening. It's public Sean announcement.
Don't forget it.
My favorite. So today's is what is it? Oh, PSA is this. It's about crossing roads. When you cross the street, go in a straight line. Back to you.
Okay, the exit song, Phil.
And that was another public Sean announcement.
Good one, Phil.
So good.
Okay. Okay, we got the PSA. Did any of you see the new U.F.Oh video?
Yeah, the one where the submarine caught it, right, and it just vanished beneath the water, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have a question on that. Do we think that spaceships are like UFOs are interdimensional? Are they just vanishing into, or do we think that there are actually maybe like bases beneath the water that they may have?
Oh, shit.
Because if you're interdimensional, like I've heard of other planes trying to lock onto these things and just they're gone, you know?
Is that a new pronoun, by the way?
What was that?
Interdimensional.
Oh, I don't even know.
Is this what that aired on the 60 Minutes? Because they did a whole 60 Minutes thing about UFOs too.
I'm actually gonna watch that tonight because I missed that one, but I heard
a clip. I heard a clip, and it's pretty fucking crazy. Like, you know, because it's finally people from the military,
right?
Like admitting, like they were like, I don't even want to be talking about this. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a person that has to talk about something that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to think I'm crazy, but they're like, I felt it was my duty because I was serving, and now I have to, you know, do what's right, and it's unclassified, so I need to talk about it. So it was pretty insane.
I know you see it.
So Felicia's saying if they are telling us UFOs are real now, what's the agenda? You know what I think it is, man? I think that we have so much access now to information with the internet and all that comes with it, that now you can't hide things, and you can't, not even if you don't have the intent in hiding something, you can't not talk about something where there's a public opinion about it or public knowledge about it. So I think and what we're seeing now is a pattern of how these things work. And it's really interesting because before, you know, all the fake ones, you can really tell the saucers and all that bullshit. What we're seeing from these military videos, though, are the use of gravity as opposed to propulsion.
Right.
So they're using, instead of propelling, what's the verb version of that? Propelling. Thank you. Instead of propelling themselves,
Help.
I appreciate it. Instead of propelling themselves using, things that spin or jets or any of that kind of thing that actually takes an object and pushes it along, these actually take the properties of gravity and manipulate gravity to move them along. And now we're seeing that they're intermedium too. So they're not just air vehicles, but they don't care about what's around them because the gravity is what the rules go by. So that means I pull myself using gravity, not push. I pull myself through water, through air, through whatever. It's crazy.
Or, you're literally pulling the universe towards you, right? It's like you're finding a given point and you're moving the universe essentially towards you, which is
wrap your fucking head around that.
Yeah.
And isn't that what Bob Lazar, is that his name?
Yeah, Lazar, I think it is.
Yeah,
Seth Lazar.
Laser. Bob Laser.
But he talked about a lot of this shit. For those that don't know, that's the guy that said he worked at Area 51, but he was also in a different department, and he said that he worked on like UFOs and shit like that, and then the government said no, he never worked there, but then there's documentation that he was in like the call directory. He had like his badge and all this shit. Wow. So
and they erased him, which was fucked up. So they erased him, and then all this, and including birth certificates, all that shit. And then somebody found a news article that specifically had a picture of him in the news article speaking about him at Area 51 and what he did. He described the hand. Remember, described the way you got into buildings. You used your hand, you put it on this machine, and he would describe it. People are like, dude, you're out of your mind. You're talking about the 70s. That shit didn't exist. Somebody found one. They actually found the unit.
Dude, what's crazy about just everything now is like they had documented certain aviation, pilot specialists in World War II that said that they had seen UFOs, and they were like, fuck, the Germans have technology that we don't even have. There's no way we're going to win this war. But they didn't, apparently these UFOs didn't mess with them, just kind of flew around them, observed, and just flew off. So, fuck, imagine going to war with something like that you don't understand. My biggest fear is that somebody's going to try to shoot at one of these things, set off an intergalactical thing that we will, But
what is it about the ocean too? Like they used to always, we would get sightings from what we, deem kind of crazy-esque people in our society.
Are you cutting out, or is that just how you're talking?
As the ones citing the UFOs, I'm a fucking but they would always be like seen in the Midwest and things like that. And now we're seeing all of them in the oceans. And what do you think is the reason? Like, have they moved? Have they migrated? Like, why is this the place that they're being discovered now versus over land? Any ideas?
Sean. Because most people are bullshit about it. And I better watch it. There is a large
PC Manny's back.
I might need you on this. There seems to be a larger contingency of
dumb shits,
lesser educated folks that live in those states that none of our listeners live in, but surround them.
I guess I'll just blanket cover that.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Here on the HollingsWorthless podcast, we just want to say that no matter what your education level, don't be afraid to achieve more. You can always reach for the sky at DeVry, or you can always, go to your local junior college and learn just a little bit more. So, hey, back to you guys.
I thought you were going to rhyme on the second one.
Dude, DeVry should hire you for that. Reach for the sky with DeVry.
TM. That shit's TM. We just trademarked it. But dude, it feels that way. Stop. Everybody pause, because I think Phil is just going to say something. Go ahead.
You said TM. I thought you said, hey, man, that's too. I thought you were trying to talk hip. Hey, man, it's TM, dude. That's too much. That's just, I can't have too. It's just, you got to cut it out, man. That's TM. Just like me talking right now is TM. It's too much. All right.
So thanks for working with us on through that one. But I think though what it is that we're seeing military footage. We're not hearing bullshit or seeing that sketchy weird shit that comes out of, say, Montana. right? So I think that there's a lot of people that are bullshit, and then I think there's truths, and you have to filter through them. So now that information's being released and we have access to this information, I think that's what we're seeing now, dude. They're real. That shit's real.
Dude, the other thing, like Rogan brought up a bunch on one of his podcasts talking about all these old paintings throughout history where there's like a fucking spaceship in an old ass painting, or somebody that looks like they're in like an outfit of an astronaut and shit, like
on
that.
on a hieroglyphic type scale, and like on Aztec like ancient walls. So I mean, you know, it's like I don't necessarily believe in ancient aliens because I always feel like it discredits the achievements of, you know, prior civilizations. But then again, I mean, there's some like crazy shit that I don't know you could just figure out. But you know, I don't know what your guys' take is. Ancient aliens, yeah or nay?
Yeah, because I think time's relative, and I think that we've
point.
only been around for such a short time that any advanced being may have been around for 1,000,000 years already. So think of what 3,000 years is to a person that's been, or whatever that's been around for 1,000,000 years. It's a speck.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, and
okay. What was your hypothesis on why why all that kind of technology went away, or why didn't they keep advancing upon it? Because I like the thought of that too. I like the idea of those ancient civilizations having some crazy technology.
I also,
but then because other people destroyed them, or
I think that honestly, we as a species, like if I were alien, I wouldn't want to fuck with Earth, like people from Earth, because it's like we're so violent, we're so, you know, like why would I want to deal with anybody who's hell bent on self destruction? It's like I'm not going to risk my people to do that.
Okay.
Shit.
Let's look at that though. I think that's interesting because sorry, dude, I'm having a problem here with this sweatshirt. I keep
you're
fucking
good.
with it. It's bugging me.
It's TM.
Think about.
I'm done.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, man? No, I'm not busy. What do you got? Cool. All right. So this is gonna be a long one.
Oh my god.
What was I just saying? Oh shit, my color just changed. What was I just saying, man? Now imagine this, Manny. Same thought process. Like, dude, why would an alien want to fuck with us? Because we're so crazy and we're so violent and all that.
Right.
So think about how we like to dive deep into the water and watch the sharks, like study the sharks. Right. Same shit, dude. Like we're way advanced. We drive cars. We drive electric fucking cars and have a conscience and like all these crazy things. And so we sit kind of from afar and watch Jaws and study them. And so then all of a sudden Jaws and their little squeaky talks, they'd be like thinking, holy shit, did you see that shit again? That fucking thing just went by.
Right.
And then they're like, nah, that's not an alien. Because why would they fuck with us, dude? We're fucking crazy. And then of course the shrimp say that about the sharks, and it just keeps going. But
dude, that's a great point. I mean, yeah, if you're just, you know, you just want to observe, it's like literally the Earth is literally this speck of ocean to an alien. You know, you've got unlimited travel abilities. You're just like, oh, let me peek in on these guys and see what they're up to. Oh, okay, we observe this. They're still not in a place where they're even close to our intelligence. Why would I engage, you know, with them when they don't even know the basics of whatever? So,
and also,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I was just gonna say, as long as we've been on Earth, we still to this day will discover new insects, new species of fish and shit like that. I was gonna say the two interesting theories on UFOs and aliens. One about Area 51. BS just wrote that he saw a weird light beam in the sky north of Vegas in 1997.
I fucking love him. His timing.
Is that a reference I don't get?
It's the fucking Luxor, dude. They opened in 1997. You son of a bitch.
One theory, or one of the things I've heard is with Area 51, people go, oh, Area 51, there's aliens there. So one theory I heard is Area 51 actually doesn't store aliens. It stores the last true humans. And we are all aliens that have come here.
Flip that one.
Yeah. And
whoa.
And then another theory that I always thought was interesting is that what we call UFOs or consider UFOs are not actually like spaceships. They're actually time machines. And what we are calling aliens are actually humans evolved in the future that are coming back.
I've heard that. And that would make perfect sense on the spectrum of evolution, because here's the thing. You get to the point of being able to let's say, for instance, like with Elon Musk, he has the chip in. Oh, did you want to comment on BS Jeffries?
No, because I think what happens is this is a choice he had to make just then, right?
Yeah.
We all laughed at the thing really hard.
What's going on, Sean, to the listeners?
He may want to have held on to that, because now if he explains that, and then we're all like, dude, now we all lost a moment.
So for the listeners that might not know what's going on, BS Jeffrey said, I saw a weird laser-like light beam in the sky north of Vegas in 97 in the general direction of Area 51. And Sean started laughing. So I was like, is that a reference I don't get? And Sean goes, he's talking about the Luxor. So we all laughed. It was great. And then Bradley could have just took that laugh. He could have took it, but then he wrote funny, but not Luxor.
Really pulled a Phil there.
Well, anyways, kind of long story short on that. I mean, they were saying that, if we can get to the point of evolution where we're not using our mouths anymore, we communicate via like brain waves, what they're actually trying to do with Elon Musk putting the chip in your brain, and you don't use your mouth. So like aliens, you see them, their mouths are a lot smaller. Their brains are a lot bigger.
Don't need bodies anymore.
Exactly. Their bodies are like, you see their limbs and they're just, tiny as fuck, because they're not moving around. They're not mobile. They don't need to like hunt and gather like we do. So, I mean, it could be the evolution of,
I don't think they have genitals either. I've never seen any genitals on there.
Yeah, maybe you just evolved to the point where you're just creating people. You take DNA and make new DNA. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, or Avatar, where you just fuck with that little cord on the back of your head or whatever.
Or maybe, dude, we evolved at that point because the earth, whatever, our environment biology learned that we can't support as many lives on this planet, and so now it's going to go through a filtration process or just change up how you procreate completely. Maybe some are given procreation. Maybe it's like a fucking bee colony, dude. You got like one fucking chick, and you got all these. Well, that's kind of real life, right?
Yeah. What's interesting though? You think about this just from a male standpoint. Think about how much time we waste on just thinking about the other sex from like teenage years to like early to mid 40s. It's like to now. You know what I mean? It's just like that amount of time where you could be focusing on solving problems, doing all these other things. Like it's
really quick, I wanted to what up, Cookie? Natasha said, why is the assumption that there's only one type of alien?
That's a great point, because you got a bunch of white dudes talking about it and they're overshadowing the black dude trying to get his fucking point in. As soon as we hear they're gonna start mixing that shit, we're like, no,
dude.
Good point though.
Yeah, you think about it, and it's like, fuck, how vast is the universe? I mean, there's probably so many different types of alien species out there, and who knows?
Illegal.
They always say, I don't know. Well, I guess it depends if you believe in religion or whatever, or even not. But they say obviously there would have to be some people that made us, right?
Yeah.
Unless we evolved or something. But they always talk about Adam and Eve not having.
Thank you, brother Fred, for putting that out there. With the blasphemous podcast that you motherfuckers are having. I just Swift, God, that it has to be better. Back to you, Jason.
They talk about Adam and Eve not having belly buttons. You know what I mean? So
no umbilical cord.
If they weren't, if God made them, or if God didn't make them and somehow they were put here, right? Could that be like you were talking about? Maybe some type of weird alien-esque.
Just fucking plot here.
Well, it's very interesting that you say that. There's this guy. His name is I think Jason McMonagle. He was actually part of what is it? Stargate, which was a CIA program of these guys who like were using like psychic abilities to like see throughout time and shit. And I mean, he said that he believed that we originated on Mars and that they'll eventually find pyramids out there. I don't know. We'll see. So
I'm gonna hit my.
But he also said that aliens. He said aliens had a belief in a spirituality too. So he thinks that some of the other species had belief that there's more after this, and if you think about it, energy can never be destroyed, so your electrons got to go somewhere, or
that's crazy though. Somebody, I mean, not only then, well, I'm just saying, like, this guy not only believes in aliens, but he goes as far as to imagine what aliens believe. I mean, that's like 2 levels deep. That's crazy.
I mean, he said that, like, and this is a bullshit to what I'm thinking, but he's just saying, like, he has had like wavelength type conversations with some of these alien beings, and that's where I fell off the wagon. I was like, I don't
Phil.
No.
Phil, who's Xenu?
That's the Scientology, Lord Xenu,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which they believe that you have had past lives, right? And that if you get rid of all of your thetans, all of your bad juju type shit, that you can then start remembering those past lives before you were even in the womb. You can remember, yeah,
if it ain't thetans, we ain't eating. All right. Alice said, does anyone here believe in the reptilian conspiracy theory?
No, just because Alex Jones is kind of a nut job, and I refuse to believe anything he believes.
But Rudy Giuliani exists.
Yeah, she said that there's a BuzzFeed. I'm going to look that up. I'm going to watch that, Alice. What up, Sandy? Scuba just said we got to watch Star Trek. I watched Star Trek back in the day. Really quick, do we have? I'm just trying to catch up on all the comments. Anyways. All right, Phyllis, do we have any listener emails?
Well, Jay, let's check. Let's check the emails that are located at hwppod@gmail.com.
Are we going to, what time is this when we're going to do emails, or do we want to? I think it's probably a good idea just to get those out of the way. Do them now.
Right. Yeah.
Then move on to the next subject.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
Again, that's hwppod@gmail.com. Please send your emails to us. So if you did send emails to us and I were to read them, I would open this segment with a song. But unfortunately, you fucks didn't send me any fucking email this week. So I have no fucking emails to read or report.
I like the angry Phil. Oh, fuck.
Wow.
So please send your emails if you you have a question, you have a comment, you have a funny story that's happened to you, you need advice. Please send them. hwppod@gmail.com.
Can we just get a little taste of the theme?
To read that every week we read our listener emails. Oh yeah. Do the end of it there.
Great. Revisiting Tony Hinchcliffe video.
Yes. I was hoping we would get to this.
Yeah, shoot one in. San Francisco.
Wait, what? Oh, my bad. I sent one down. Yeah, sorry.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we can't guess which one is Phil's email because it would just be his. So just to kind of go over what we talked about before. So there was a video that was released by, this isn't me being funny. I think the guy's name is Peng Dang.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, what a dick. You're getting canceled.
Why would I get canceled?
Because you're fucking up his name like you said. I'm just going with it. But dude, I am happy about what you're bringing up right now. I forgot.
Alice, I don't think Irish J is my Cash App. No, you said you sent it to Irish J. I think my Cash App is Big Irish and just the letter J. But
you know what? I like that idea, Alice, that we could have tips for this show while we're on air. That would be cool.
All Phil wants is just the tips. So let's finish this Tony Hinchcliffe real quick. I know we'll talk about it later, Phil. But so Tony Hinchcliffe, there was a video posted by this comic. Again, I think his name is Dang Pang or Peng Dang, and he was saying all you saw in the video that he posted is give it up for the great Tony Hinchcliffe, and Tony Hinchcliffe comes up and he goes, give it up for that fucking filthy, uses the C word, derogatory term for Chinese, and then he starts berating the audience. He goes, you fucking race traitors, just eating up his basically the guy's act. He's like, and then he starts saying oh, we make gunpowder, and he says some other shit in a derogatory Asian accent.
Yeah, he says 3 specific things. One of them is gunpowder, and then 2 other, yeah, right.
And then he starts, and then you see him talking about a previous Asian heckler or comic that he said, "You got to get out of here. This is how the flu started." Something that,
which is the story that I told you guys about last week, because that's the story I heard on Kill Tony podcast. I didn't know that was for one. I didn't even know the Peng Deng thing happened when you guys were talking about it. So I was talking about that previous thing that had happened, and then what you're about to get to when he brings that up, I was like, oh, okay. This is a whole new controversy. So it's just crazy.
Yeah. So Ari Shaffir, who was canceled for his
Kobe Bryant.
They weren't even jokes, but all the shit he said about Kobe Bryant, which I mean, Ari Shaffir's been doing that about anybody that passes. He doesn't try, and I don't think he's really tries to be funny. It's a shock thing. He just shits on whoever passes. But when he did it with Kobe, that did not pan out.
because all of a sudden you're talking about the thing I care about. It was funny when it was stuff that other people cared about.
I think
also my thing you can't joke about.
I think it was also because his daughter died on that.
And other people.
But anyways, but Ari Shaffir on his own YouTube page posted the Asian comics set prior to Tony Hinchcliffe and Tony's full set. And what I saw in that is I'm not justifying the use of any racial slur. If he would have done everything he did without using a racial slur, I wonder. I don't know if it would be as big of a deal. But basically, the Asian comic went up and he was talking about like how a lot of stuff is anti-Asian right now and everything. So when Tony went up, he was going over the top. And he even said, like, he was directing, like, the audience, most of them were on board because they're his fans and they get who he is.
Right.
But there was some people that he's like, look at this girl. She thinks like I'm serious with all this shit. But that wasn't in the video that the Asian comic posted. And it was him he was going over the top. It's like, it'd be like somebody gave an example, like if somebody said, like did a whole set about dogs are the best. And then he goes up and he goes, oh, this guy and these fucking bitches and these bastards. I would kill every fucking puppy I saw. It was interesting when you see it, the full, both of them. It's definitely a different vibe than what was edited and put up. But I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were on everything.
Shout out to the ASPCA.
So, did you mean the AAPI, or were you really doing the AS? That's the animal one.
That's the animal one. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I see where your loyalty stand. So,
not AAPI,
right? AAPI, yeah, right. So here's the.
I don't know. Keep going. Keep going. God damn it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you briefly went over. I can't remember the name for the acronym.
So here we go. So it's the slur is where he went too far. I agree with Jay. Yeah. So the racial. Ah, man. So this is going to be super unpopular. So there was an obvious agenda behind that first video that was put out, and I was talking to Jay about this right after the full version came out. And I was really stoked because now, like the truth is put out. So now there's no question of what happened. And it was nothing happened. I described it to Jay as this guy's set was the equivalent of give it up for the troops. So you go out on stage and give it up for the troops. And everybody's like, you're like, yeah, it's all pandering. It's all hack. This guy's comedy. I mean, look, it was pretty bad, dude. It was all extremely hack. All of it was race-based. All of it was like and I know comedy's subjective. What I'm saying though is, look, as a person who's been around it for, a quarter of my life, that this is really like unthoughtful. I'm going to go try to get a laugh on stage for laugh's sake. And I don't have a point of view that I'm trying to express, which is some of the filtering that comedy does, right? And gets rid of that kind of shit. So then, of course, Tony comes out and he plays right into that whole thing. It was on the same tempo. It was the same cadence as what had, like, all of it made sense. The part that I was going to say that isn't going to be popular is, I mean, look, and I know this is a white dude saying this, but this is coming from a comedy place. This is what I'm talking about. So, dude, there's white comics like Louis C.K., and I'm not going to get into the whole bit, obviously, but he's got a great bit where he drops the N-bomb, and he does it like 3 or 4 times, dude. And it's for the reason he does it is the absurdity of it. And then
there's a couple he has. The one, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the one that I think is brilliant is N-word, where he says, where he says, I think he says that somebody on the news, they go, and then this person said the N-word, and he goes, just fucking say it, because he goes, when you say N-word, it goes in my brain, and I'm like, oh, they mean, and then he says the actual word, and he goes, now you just fucking made me say it.
Right.
Yeah. He has a good F word joke too. Just by the way, he hits a lot of them.
And right, and Burr has one, right, where he gets hurt on the baseball field, and his buddy comes up and wants to help him out. So look, taken out of context, if I just said those words, look, yeah, I hear the argument. It's never okay to use those words. I understand that notion. As you get into this artistic, poetic, like observation of things around you and start to make sense of it and put it into a way that either somebody can understand or that you can provoke thought. Because, dude, look, really great comics. There's a genre of that love to provoke thought. They say what they say to make you think about how stupid you are and how the way you thought you were is actually the exact opposite, right? Like, those are great things. So I think that what he said makes sense to me, dude. And in context, in the moment, in that environment, with everything that was built around it, it makes absolute complete sense to me. So
I'm going to edit this to you just saying, I think what he said makes sense to me.
Yeah. Like I'll jump on with that. Like I feel like I'm with probably everybody else where it's like, there's certain words that like, I don't even really use, you know what I mean? So it's like, fuck, I mean, and it's probably the worst thing coming from a white guy, Tony Hinchcliffe, you know what I mean? And I get it. He's shock and awe, but then there also is there's no room for error anymore in comedy, right? Like, you can't, you gotta be flawless in this thing now, because there's so much videotape and people can take things way out of context. Like, Jay knows one of my first jokes that I thought was like just a barn burner was my 9/11 joke. And oh my God, I used to like talk about how Black History Month was like the shortest month of the year. And then my Arab buddy was like, well, damn, can't we get a month? And I was like, didn't you just get 9/11? And like, that was the joke. Oh, yeah. And you remember that? Yeah. And
hilarious. Fucking hilarious.
But you should have seen the way that white faces in Bellevue, Washington were like, what did he just say? Not against my America. You know what I mean? And it's like, I just didn't have that, like, that room to fail. And I'm a brand new comic 2 years in. And so, I mean, there's just this ground now where it's like, fuck, you can't even take that attempt. You know what I mean? And like we always say, what was the real intent? Were you just trying to get a reaction, or do you really feel that way? Right. So, I mean, I'm with Sanders. Like, it was a raw joke. You know what I mean? And fuck, man, it's like I see both sides. It's like I used to be a hacky comic where everything was about my experience being black, my experience being black, my experience being black. There was no diversion from that material. So I understand the Asian guy talking about what he knows, and yeah, it's hacky. But
sorry, Natasha said Wanda didn't steal that one.
But then Tony, that's his fan base, and that's how he comes out, and he's just raw. I'm not the biggest fan of Tony, but I understand that he was just trying to get a reaction out of his audience. I say if you just had left the C word out of it, maybe things would have panned out differently, like Jay said. But what are your thoughts, Phil?
I think too that there's just a little bit more context, because I was listening to briefly them talking about this on another podcast where they were actually, I can't remember the names of the guys, I'm sorry, but they were friends with Tony, and they had just talked to him on the phone after the show came out.
Was it Andrew
yeah
Schultz?
Yeah, that's right. And they said that so I listened to Kill Tony, but they said on a previous episode that this Pang Deng guy, he was on Kill Tony.
Whoa.
I said his name.
I think it's Deng Peng.
No, it's Pang Dang.
Okay.
But he was on the show, and then not only that, on that show they will offer if you do well, they will offer you other gigs. You can get other gigs, and so I guess he had actually worked with him.
Kane did well on that show.
Yeah, right. Anyways.
But he had worked with him for a couple more times. So my point being is, when you're comics and you start to work with each other a couple times, you start to build a little bit of a camaraderie most of the time, and you start to kind of shit on each other like we do on the show. You start to make fun of each other. You start to be able to get away with a little bit more than you normally can. Now, did it go over the line? Did he say a word that maybe he could have done all the same jokes like Jay said and left out that one word, and probably been in the okay? I think so. But what my point is I think, and this is an assumption, but I think when he said that, even though it was for the shock and awe, I think there may have been an understanding between himself and Pang Dang that, he probably didn't take offense to it. Again, that's me assuming, but and then obviously maybe
from Tony's side, Tony was assuming he wouldn't take offense to it.
Yeah, because Pang put it out.
Sure, because they had some kind of rapport with each other, but obviously, yeah, maybe in hindsight, getting made fun of in front of the audience, maybe Pang Dang, it was one time too many or whatever, and decided to get some backlash on Tony. But I don't know, you know what I mean? Because you get roasted on Kill Tony, and he must have been okay with it at that time, especially to accept gigs. So what was it about this time that you didn't enjoy the roasting? I don't know.
Go ahead, Jay.
A couple things. So I saw one of the videos of, is it Pang Dang? Is Pang his
yes,
first
that's
name?
correct.
Okay,
that's correct.
Right. Honestly, I'm not trying to be
I know.
So I'm just gonna call him Pang. Okay, so Pang, I saw one of his Kill Tony sets. It might have been his first one, and at the and again, this is Tony and Kill Tony's shtick. Is it's like they roast you. They'll shit on you. They'll also compliment you. But they'll compliment you as they're talking shit about you. So the one that I saw that he was on Kill Tony, they were doing like racial jokes about him, and he was laughing about it, and he like they were saying on the Andrew Schultz thing, it's interesting because Pang had used Tony as like one of his credits in his bio, like opened up for tours with Tony Hinchcliffe, has opened for Tony Hinchcliffe. Second thing, Carla wrote, I'm all about comedy, but I still think it's inappropriate to use racial slurs that you don't have the right quote unquote card for. It's a no for me. My thing, like, I've never done a joke where I'm saying the N word. I have no desire to even attempt that. Now I won't say that like I said, that the Louis C.K. bit, I think it's a brilliant bit. It's a commentary on when people say the N word and how it makes, as a guy, you're like, well, this is what they're saying, and it makes you say it. Artie Lang, white dude that has a funny bit where he says the N word over and over again, and I think it's a hilarious bit. Again, I have no desire to even broach that, or
Ralphie May, who has predominantly black audiences.
Oh, Phil.
No. Well, like,
no, I'm just saying.
Wait,
he does, and he's used that word.
Can I wait? I gotta say something though. I wonder if it is one of those things where it's like, because I think sometimes to be the smaller comic and not the, where you are maybe uncomfortable with certain things and you just don't speak up because you just want to fit in, you want to get the opportunity where you don't say shit. Because I'll tell you this, I was on a show with who is it, Jimmy Schubert and Morgan Preston, and they were
whoa. So first off, you're on a show with one comedian and then a guy who tagged along.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Morgan tried to say the N word in front of me, and I said, I guarantee you won't say that shit again, or else I will knock your fucking teeth out.
I had no fucking idea about that, really.
Yeah. Wow. So this is in the green room, and he didn't say it again, and I was just like, I'm not that motherfucker, man. And I told him, and so I was just and I was just dead serious with him, and it was. I've been in the room where it's like you don't want to speak up because you don't know the level of what somebody else, is like, you don't want them to ruin your career because, that dude is, he tried to, do this and that. But when Morgan said that shit, I was like, oh no, motherfucker, we're on the same fucking level. And I'm probably, I'm better than you. I'm just,
dude.
But when he said that shit, I was like, yo, I'm not that dude. So
Can I put it this way to you?
Hold on, I want to just Big Daddy Chris, aka Critter83, he said Payne actually did take offense. That's why he put the video out. He had a serious problem with the slur. I understand that, Chris. What I'm saying is, previously though, they've bantered back and forth on Kill Tony, and you could say maybe he was like Manny was saying, a newer comic, and he didn't want to cause waves or whatever, so he laughed it off. But here's the thing: is he then worked with Tony after that multiple times, and so there's different ways you can handle this. So if somebody's your friend, like if I said something that crossed a line, as Manny as my friend, I would hope that he would afterwards take me to the side and go, hey man, I just want to let you know you kind of you kind of overstepped your bounds there a little bit.
We've all got that relationship, and it's like, Jay, he gets more offended at hearing the N-word than I do. You know what I mean? And it's like, you're like ready to fight somebody in that moment. And you know what I mean? It's so, but that's the beauty of a real friendship, is that if any of us felt uncomfortable with something somebody said, we would check the other one and just be like, hey man, I'm not cool with that, and just move on,
Yeah. And I'm 100% sure all of us would do that for each other. If there was something that maybe that we like, they said that bothers or whatever. But I wouldn't just not say anything to you and then blast it out to the internet, be like,
exactly.
Hey, so I mean, the other thing, I wanted to make this point too. The other thing is, when he threw the racial slur out, there was no like, I understand it was in the bigger scheme of things, it was like an over the top thing, but with that specific, there was no like joke that it was connected to that. It was just like, it just sounded like very aggressively saying a racial slur. So I think that was another reason why it went south. I actually did a podcast about a week ago with David Lucas. So for those that don't know, David Lucas is a regular on Kill Tony. David Lucas is black, and he was talking about how much Tony has done so much for him, and he's like, yeah, Tony's like the least he's the least racist person I know. And I was like, well, it's because you're not Asian. So me and David talked about it for a while, and on David's podcast, and this was before I saw the full video and everything, and I kind of just said I was curious about what happened before and what was the full set. And it's just I think the biggest issue is just shouting a racial slur and saying that fucking filthy, and which is also what I wanted to highlight. Her Sandy brought it up. Sandy, where was your comment?
Go ahead.
Sandy said, my only question is, would he have done the same thing had the comic been a black man?
Yep.
I think he would have.
Seen it.
I mean,
yeah,
like he's that kind of comic, is where I'll say it again. I don't think that if you don't have that card, you shouldn't, like Carla said, you shouldn't be able to say it. But I will say, at least Pang Dang owed it to Tony to have the full context of everything. Post the full video if you're really, that concerned. Post the whole thing and let people be the judge of that. But still, like, he still shouldn't have said the word, I don't think. So.
I just want to say one quick thing.
Sean, I know you're being patient.
So like you said, we would handle it between ourselves, right? And I think even if it was something that he shouldn't have said, that I think would be a much more appropriate way to handle it because of the times we live in and how sensitive everybody is. And when you are a comic that is a little bit more well known, you have an established audience, and those audiences generally, it's just like a friendship. Those audiences start to get to know you, and there's a line that you can sometimes touch or even cross, and your audience will be okay with it because they've come to know who you are, and they will let you get away with certain things. And a lot of people in that audience were fans of Tony, and so I think he kind of knew he could even push over that line, and that audience may be okay with it. Whether or not it's okay is a different conversation, and it's one that we're having. But see what Pang Dang did when he got upset, when he blasted it on the internet. There's a lot of people that are on the internet that don't know who Tony Hinchcliffe is, aren't fans of his. They don't know his comedy, and because of that, when they hear somebody say something like that out of context, not knowing him or who he is, it's holy shit, I can't believe what he just said.
Right.
And it's, I'm not excusing it either, but think about somebody that you really like that's famous, and how you in your head can list off every characteristic, and you would know how they would respond to a certain sentence because you feel like you know them. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, Sean. I know you're you're not going to forget what your points, right?
We'll see. Go ahead.
I just was going to say a perfect example, Phil. I'm going to use myself. Like all the people that are watching, that are listening, you guys know me, and I feel like the people that are all here have a pretty good idea of who I am as a person and probably my views on race and prejudice and shit like that. Not this last Friday before, I was doing a show at midnight. I think I mentioned this on the last podcast. I was doing a show. It's called Stupid Town. It's a midnight show. It's wild, dirty show, crazy show. I'm headlining it, so I'm closing it out. The lady before me, she goes up and she's doing like 20 minutes. And to her left of the stage, there's a guy with a girl and some other people, real pretty girl. And she says to the guy, she goes, "Oh, is that your girlfriend?" This guy responds by saying, quote, "I'm a faggot." He just said it just like that, grabs his vape, and then just starts smoking it. And everybody just starts laughing because it was a shock thing. Nobody was expecting it, right?
Right.
So I go on stage and I've thought about posting the video, but it's like I know I have to put a preface beforehand of what happened, because I opened up, I go on stage and I go, "Hey, gay dude, what's your name?" And his name, I think, was Alex. And I said to him, I go, "Dude, I love that she was like, 'Is that your girlfriend?' And you just go, 'I'm a faggot.' And you smoked on your cigarette and you're like, 'Suck on that, bitch.'" Mm-hmm. And then later in the set, somebody was not heckling, but they weren't paying attention over here. And I kept going back, and me and Alex like became friends through the set. And I was like, "Alex, go handle him. Go over there and just go, 'I'm a faggot,' and stand over him and smoke." Right.
Right.
Now, I don't say that word in my day to day. I don't call people that or any of that shit. But if somebody were to just post a clip of me just going, starting it where I go, "I'm a faggot," and just sucked on they'd be like, "Jesus Christ, Jay's using these fucking slurs."
Right.
I never thought Jay was like that. And it's a context thing, because if you don't know what happened beforehand, you don't know what went on through the show. You're just seeing one little part and you're like, geez, it might change your view of me,
So how does that make people feel that just heard that on this live right now? When you heard Jay recite that, did you instantly get like, whoa, hold the fuck on? Or did you just roll with that story, listening for the next word, because you're like, okay, he has a story here, and then I'm just hearing it out to the end? I have a feeling it's the latter. You just listen to the story, word by word by word, to the next word, to the next word. It's because you were in context. You were in this energy. It's been a wave that we've all been riding so far. Okay, uncomfortable. And you know what? I appreciate that. Did you feel as uncomfortable? And maybe it's not to weigh against each other. Sandy in the comments said she felt uncomfortable, and I think that's a real response. So where was your comfort level as it related to what we've been talking about, though? Because I think people in here were real tight on the never say this stuff. It's the problem that he said that word that's the problem here. It's that he went to the C word that created the problem. If he wouldn't have done that, maybe it would have been better. But we've all been kind of clamping on that. And then we even took it into dropping M-bombs and what people thought about that. And never. Do you have that same reaction to what Jay just said, though? Because it is the exact same thing that Tony Hinchcliffe's going through right now. I didn't know you were going to give that example, dude. And that is about as on point as you can get. So I think it's just an eye-opener to understand. First off, I think what Jeffrey said way back and I think some people missed the first part of what he said. In a non-joke reality.
Right.
Anybody who says these kinds of words is ignorant. In non-joke reality, the use of racial slurs just shows lack of intelligence on the part of the user. 100%, dude. And I know if I would have ever dropped an M-bomb in front of any of my people back in the day, dude, that's an alley job. You get taken on the side of the house, dude, and you get worked up and down that fucking alley. And that's not why you didn't do it. You just didn't do it. It just didn't enter your head, right? So I want to scoot that part. That's totally true. In a non-joke reality, you don't say that shit. You're dumb if you. That's ignorant talk. You sound stupid. But on this, not but alongside, on this other side of it, dude, in the joke world, we just saw with Jay's example that if context and a wave is being ridden, there's a certain energy level, and all these things have come together, it makes sense. Because right now, not to run this on, dude, I'm just saying you dropped that phrase 6 times just now, right? And that could easily be cut and put out, dude. And now you have to explain that you don't really have a problem with gay folks.
You know,
Yeah.
one thing I will say.
Sorry, I was just going to say. Now I didn't just go up and call this person the F word. I was quoting what he said. Just literally. That's what this guy said. What'd you say?
I was doing a V, so Victoria knew I was saying.
Yeah, I was just repeating what this guy said because it was so funny when the lady goes, "Oh, is this your?" She said it like so sweet and like, "Oh, she's beautiful. Is that your girlfriend?" And then he just goes, and then just started, and the whole room just erupted because you're not expecting it. Everybody started laughing, etc.
You know, I think
Natasha, please. And while we're talking, put Natasha's 728 up. What she said right here, I love it. Yep. Absolutely.
Read it.
It says, Natasha said, how did it make me feel when the question was raised, right? How did that feel with what Jay said? For people just joining us on the HWP podcast, if you want to email us, Phil has instructions for you.
hwppod@gmail.com.
So she writes, how did it make me feel? Comedy shows need context, and the vibe of the room is important. That can't always be shared after the fact. And that second part is the biggest thing. It can't be shared after the fact. And I mean this to the degree everybody here knows I mean it. And I know everybody in here knows it. For people listening later that we're not so close to, maybe. Can you go back to that so I can see that again, please? Comedy needs to stay in the room. Just leave it there.
I think that's a great point because it's like just recording it too. It's like if something's not ready for TV and somebody records it ahead of time, it's clunky, it's not worked out. Sometimes you throw things into the ether. You know, you think about Patrice O'Neal. It's like he may not have been around today with cancel culture and everything else, but you know, I mean, fucking. But I'll put it like this. So I'll tell you 2 different scenarios where it just was like hearing that word on foreign lips is always, you know, is a weird feeling and a place to be. So Roy Wood Jr.
What word? M-bombs?
Yeah. So Roy Wood, Roy Wood Jr. would do his set, and it was the Sullivan and Son tour, and he would go first, and you know, he drop a few N-words in there. You know, he's black, you know, so that, you know, feel free. That's his word. Yeah, that's our word. Whatever, right? But then Owen Benjamin, who is unknown. Right, exactly. Not the whole crowd doesn't know Owen Benjamin, but he would go up and he'd be like, you know, say it. He dropped the N-word and, you know, try to play off of Roy's joke. And then everybody would be uncomfortable, you know, but he thought it was funny. But for those of us who know him, we know he's one of those weird conservative, like clearly
friends
racist.
with Steven Crowder.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, his career has since been ended. But one of the craziest stories that I can think of is one that Jay told me. You remember the feature who would go up?
I just told it like last. I think
you may have. Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
So if you want to see that, you got to go on the last one. I just want to, because I want their voice to be heard. Carla was saying she still feels the same way. Jay isn't gay, so I don't really think I would have laughed. Totally valid. However you feel is totally valid. Sandy said, no, not as uncomfortable as watching Tony's aggressiveness when using that racial slur. How aggressive he was hit me differently as well. Granted, I've never seen that guy, so that could be how he is. And I want to just
pause there real quick. I'm not going far. I think it's interesting that she used the word aggressive both times. That's his instrument. So some people play flute, some people play tuba, right? Different sounds, drums. These are all different sounds in the orchestra. His sound is aggressive. That was not. That was the tone, the speed, the voice, the rasp, all of that levels. All of that shit is how he always moves his message across or his thing across. So that wasn't aggressive. That you could just say, I wasn't as comfortable watching Tony when using that racial slur. How he hit me differently. He hit me differently too. Like you take the aggressive part out. This is him. So now I don't know if that starts to change anything. But the other thing, if you knew Tony and you were a fan of that genre of comedy, then we wouldn't have this conversation because you're in a different headspace. I'm not saying your headspace is right or wrong. What I'm saying is I love Pearl Jam, right? So then I'm not going to go on an analogy. Anyways.
No, I think but I've never heard that. I really liked what you just said, tone, different tones of an instrument, or different instruments in the orchestra. That's really, really interesting.
But ultimately, I do think you have
some people just don't like flute.
Yeah, I think that
Exactly.
I think ultimately you need to know the time, right? It's like there have been a lot of Asian hate crimes, so maybe that wasn't the best choice of what you did within this time. I get it. I get the whole shock and awe thing, but it sucks being a comic because it's like you don't know if somebody's recording. You don't know if you could be your freest, truest, fluid self on stage and just throwing out riffs and having fun, but for some people it's a little, I don't know.
But see, Manny, I'm curious, Manny, because I totally understand what you're saying, and depending on the direction that you see yourself taking your career, what type of audience you want to develop or what type of comedy you want to develop. I mean, what instrument do you find yourself wanting to play in the orchestra? You know what I mean? Because I'm just
jazz
I'm just one because you were just saying Patrice O'Neill couldn't do the same stuff as he did today, but
you both kind of mentioned that,
looked at as brilliant. You know what I mean? So,
you both kind of mentioned that. I actually think he would might even go harder because Patrice always talked about he doesn't need the whole world to like him. He used to jokingly say, I can be a boutique drug. He's like, I if I have my fan base that gets him, and then he's playing to his audience. So I don't think he would they may try and cancel him, but I think he wouldn't give a fuck. I
think you actually brought up a good point because in hindsight, Chappelle is doing well. He's thriving in this environment and he's saying what he wants to say. So it's, I think that
I'm not saying you should flip views. I'm just.
It's such a, being a comic and, being a fan are two different things where it's like, you understand the craft a little bit more. But we've been doing it for over 10 years and it's like, there's just so many different types of comedy. I think about it even as a young comic, like I said earlier, being in a place where you don't have the room to fail because, he just said that, this dude's not getting any more stage time, he's canceled. I know Tony knows better on some scale, but at the same time, that's his character and that's what he's throwing out, just like Ari Shaffir, so.
And I want to say I appreciate. I mean, I love that we can have this conversation. Nobody's getting bent out of shape or whatever, even if they have difference of views. And I love everybody's input, even if they disagree. It's
even wrong. Absolutely.
I'll just say, I guess in any manner, there was not, like we had said pretty much at the beginning, there was not really any joke.
Right.
that was set up with the word. You know what I mean? So I guess if he was to, I'm just saying if he was to use the word and still get away with it and be a little smarter about using it, I guess, or actually had just a joke with it. I mean, it was, I understand what he was doing. He was trying to set the tone. He was trying to reset the room, all of that. But I mean, does that just, the word itself, is that the joke and the punchline all in one? I mean,
we all know comedy isn't a bunch of setups and punchlines. We know it's not all jokes. We know it's a lot of times it's a lot of other things, right? It's riding a wave again. And I think to myself, like, I was trying to find a close analogy to this. Like, if you were listening to, I'm trying to think of some like screaming band. If you're listening to, how about this? If you're listening to, this is going back, but if you're listening to Onyx, let's say, and then we were talking about it, and we listened to that slam joint, and then you're like, dude, it's good, but that song, man, they're so aggressive. That was so aggressive. And I'd be like, but I hear you. As long as you're saying that's their style, I'm down. I agree with you.
If what you're trying, safe, I just hit you in the face, yo, slam.
But here's the thing. But if you're trying to tell me that, they are what?
I'm sorry, Victoria.
But if you're trying to tell me that they were, fuck, I'm losing my train of thought here.
Sorry. But the aggressiveness of Slam and people.
Yeah, I'd say that isn't aggressive. That's just their style. That's how they always are. So if you're not into that music, you're not going to be into that music. I don't care. So that, that's how it is. I hear what Sandy's saying. She's like, my impression of him is that he is aggressive. And I say, therefore, nothing he would ever do would be funny to you because that's his singing voice. That's the only one he's got. And that's what he does. Here's what I want to say now that we've said all this stuff. And I imagine we're going to, my stream keeps going out. I think it's the weather or Wi-Fi. That's really weird.
Yeah,
like everybody's is.
It's pausing.
We're fine.
So it's probably
Jay's
server,
on dial-up.
It's probably a server issue with StreamYard. If it's happening across platforms, it looks like.
They said it was when I said the F word and never canceled. We got canceled.
But I want to say though, I'm not a fan of Tony Hinchcliffe at all. Never have been. Don't like his comedy. Don't love the style of it. The Kill Tony show. I don't like the point of it. But I will totally defend his not right. We all have rights. We get that. I will defend him doing what he does.
Right.
Because he's a comedian. It's I know what he was trying to do. I don't want to get back into the intent talk again. We know where that went last time, but it's something to think about.
Yeah.
All right, we got to start wrapping it up. Cosmetic Chick.
She's right. That's beautiful too. What Cosmetic Chick put.
She said it's comedy. It's either funny to you or it's not. I personally don't think it's that deep.
Solid.
Yeah, that's it. I agree 100%.
The thing is, unfortunately, not a lot of other people agree with you, Cosmetic Cheek.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, really quick plugs because we got to wrap it up. Sean, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I'm just getting up for a big production here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you are. You bet your sweet dick you are.
Mashing out to a place called St. Louis, kind of by the Ozarks.
Ooh.
Doing some shit out there, and I'll talk about it when I feel like talking about it. Right now, it's kind of a secret.
There you go.
And you're at
so I know I promised too that I was going to start putting Instagram shit up. I'm totally going to. That's on my thing. I'm making a priority. So follow me at the Mechanable MC. Boom.
Slam. I just want to say I want to see some of those pictures like when you're camping in the middle of nowhere, just stars, all that good shit. And so I think that'd be dope. Yeah, I guess I'm next, or is Phil next?
Yes. No, you got it.
Yeah. Still,
Cosmetic chick.
just chilling. Probably have a big announcement coming up that I'll keep you guys posted on. Yeah. But outside of that, just follow me at Mandy Martin JR. And then also we've got Love in Black and White, and our pastors will be making another appearance, and we might even send around a donation plate, that you guys can throw to.
Big Daddy Chris, you should, if you can come out there, that'd be dope.
Dope. Fuck yeah.
He's an undercover hooligan. All right, Phyllis.
Yes, I'll be right here. Just working a lot. I'd love to, I'd love to start dating. Oh, I had big news. I have big news.
Wait. That's your plug?
Find me on the apps.
Plug and all
Find me on the apps. Yeah.
Okay.
No, just it doesn't. We have to go into it. I'm kind of reaching a cool little highlight of my sobriety. I'm because I'm still living in the recovery sober house, and I will be graduating next week to my own single bedroom in the house.
Yeah.
No more roommate.
No more having to masturbate with somebody in the room. You got it.
Literally.
Yeah. So anyway, I can have guests over is what I'm trying to say. So find me on those apps. Come over and let's get to know each other. You know what I'm saying? Hey. But anyway, also, Sean, you said Onyx. Look at your name at the Mechanable. It was right there waiting for you. Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh shit! Right in front of me, bro. Hey, look. I tried to think quick and pull one out fast. Kind of like how I handle my ladies.
Phil, are you coming to St. Louis?
Guess what? I'll be there. I will.
Shit.
Yeah.
Manny cannot, for reasons we'll divulge later, but he'll be missed.
It involves surgery and tucking.
So vas deferens.
All right, Phil, we're going to talk after this. Okay, really quick, my plugs this week. Thursday, I will be at Griffin Comedy Hour at the Griffin here in Vegas. Saturday, I'll be doing Laugh After Dark at Notoriety here in Vegas. And then I'm going to plug it every week until it's done. June 13th, Helium in St. Louis. Confirmed. To hear more is special guesting on the show, as well as Kane Holloway. And I am amped. I got everybody on the show that I want, and everybody except for Manny that I want to be there. Manny's not going to be there, but everybody's going to be there. So it's going to be, I can't wait. And I'm at Big Irish J at everything. And,
hey, is your Laugh After Dark? That's the one that got canceled a year ago, right?
So they have a weekly show now, and the one that I'm doing this Saturday is not the one that's being taped. The one that I'm that's going to be taped is actually after I record my hour. So I'm going to do different shit.
So that's the one that I bought a ticket for that they moved states on.
Yes.
Right. And then said, I can't give you your money back, but you can watch it on TV if you want. That one, right? Got it. Cool. Good move, guys. I know you're on the show, but quality production.
Oh, fuck. And with that, Phil
is
bye.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.